how the game adapts to you, and what the debug numbers mean. The same level can feel like a gentle stroll to one player and the grueling marathon to another. Shumach3 does not leave that to chance. The game remembers how you play and quietly turns the difficulty dials. More or fewer moves, rarer or commoner apples, stronger or weaker invisible help when you fall behind. Below is a walkthrough of how it works and what those green figures in the bottom left mean if you peek under the bonnet. Debug panel. Press back quote, the key to the left of one, back quote, during a level. You will not see it in normal play. It is for anyone who wants to know what the game is thinking right now. Why this exists at all? Every level in the data has a score target, a move limit, and an intended toughness, but how it feels will differ for a newcomer and a veteran. The game keeps a difficulty profile, skill from 0 to 10, not a leaderboard rank, but an internal scale. How many moves to grant, how generously to spawn apples and bonuses, and how hard to nudge you when you are off the pace. The profile persists between sessions. It does not reset on new game or when you restart the campaign, only if you wipe browser saves entirely. It updates after a win or a loss, when moves run out and game over appears with a restart. Two kinds of memory, you in the long run versus this level right now. The first line on screen, SK, EMA, W, is about you as a player over time. Lines 2, 3, and 4 are about this run right now. What it looks like on screen. Before the goal, you are still chasing points. The game may already be helping in the background. After the goal, the G snapshot is locked in. Moves may drop to 0. Celebration, clearing the board. On a screenshot, the dot between numbers can look like a hyphen. That is the middle dot character in the HUD's small font. The second frame is ideal for unpacking G. There is a dedicated section below. After that, line by line. Screenshot walkthrough. What G is for. G is not how many moves you have now. It is a snapshot the moment you first hit the score goal. For G, 5.63%. Part 5, 5 moves left, when the score first reached the mission goal. Part 63%. That spare is 63% of your starting budget. Out of 8 moves, a healthy cushion. The game records this once and never changes it, even if you later burn every move in the post-goal sandbox. So the same screen can show MB 0/8, 0 now, and G 5.63%, 5 at the goal, at once. Not a bug, but two different questions. Where am I now, and how did I take the goal? Why it matters to you. Win feeds whether a win counts as calm, the W streak, and how high comfort is, EMA to skill growth. Moves after the first goal do not enter that formula. You can happily chain combos. The system only cares about the mission complete moment. Why calm 0 on the screenshot even though G looks generous? A calm win needs both spare moves at the goal and low hidden help across the whole level. Here, G 5.63%, moves-wise excellent, 5 moves and 63% of budget, above the 12% threshold. AS 0.00/0.81, on the right, assist peak 0.81, whilst the calm threshold is 0.52. The game had been nudging apples and bonuses mid-level, even though you reached the scoreline with moves to spare. Bottom line, you took the goal cleanly on moves, but the level carried you. Not a clean win for the W streak, calm 0, though C 0.65 is still decent and will nudge EMA a little after you finish. G dash, the goal has not been reached yet, as in the first example above. Until there is a snapshot, calm cannot flip to 1, nothing to measure calmness from. Line 1. Your in-game passport. SK 5 of 10, skill, how hard the game is pressing. A scale from 0, easy does it, to 10, proper hardcore. This is not a badge of mastery. It is a balance knob the game turns for you. At 0, more opening moves, handier spawns, stronger invisible help when you lag. At 10, fewer moves, rarer apples and bonuses, weaker safety net, higher score target, almost no free moves from apples in big combos. After a win, skill can rise by at most +1 per win via 2 routes, see Emma and W. After a loss, out of moves, game over, restart, skill drops by 1, but not below 0. The calm win counter, W, resets.
EMA 50. How comfortable you are on average, 0 to 100. Think of a smooth score. After each win, the game checks how calmly you cleared the level, same logic as C below. Maps it to 0 to 100 and blends it into the old value. Each new win weighs roughly 38%. Why smooth? One fluky stomping victory should not instantly crank skill to max.
Link to skill. If EMA catches up to the threshold for the next skill step, you can get +1 from a single win, even without 3 calm wins in a row. There is a 4-point buffer, hysteresis. To go from skill 5 to 6, you need not EMA greater than 50, but greater than 56. Skill +1 times 10 minus 4. That stops skill jittering when you hover near a boundary. EMA alone never lowers skill. Only wins and losses move SK. W0/3, a streak of clean wins. How many calm wins in a row you have out of 3 needed for a guaranteed +1 skill, if you are not already at 10. A calm win means you did not squeeze the level dry. 1. At the first moment the mission goal was met, you had spare moves, at least 1 move or no less than 12% of what you were given at the start. 2. Across the whole level, hidden help peak, right side of as below, was not above 0.52. The game barely carried you with apples and bonuses. 1, but on the nerves, thin spare or heavy help, W resets to 0, though skill may still inch up via EMA. On loss, W resets as well. Line 2. Moves and invisible help. MV 8/9. Moves. Left, remaining. Right, granted at start. For example, 8 of 9, you barely touched the budget. If there is no limit, the left side shows infinity. These figures feed lag, and help, strength, as. As 0.44, 0.00, assist, hidden help. 2 numbers separated by pipe. Left, help right now, 0 to 1. Right, peak for the whole level. The higher assist, the more the game quietly tweaks odds. More apples when points or moves are short. More bonuses, helicopter, bomb, and so on, when you lag the score curve. In the example 0.44, now, peak 0.00, help has just kicked in. Until then, the game thought you were on track. The peak is remembered for the rest of the level and affects a calm win. Calm. Assist is capped by skill. At profile 10, the help ceiling is lower than at 0. Line 3. Whether you are behind and how you took the goal. Falling behind, moves score. 2 numbers from 0 to 1 separated by dot. First, 0.50. Pressure on moves and apples. You are off the score pace. An optimistic estimate says moves will not suffice, or panic at the end fires. Few moves left with a score shortfall. Second, 0.00. Lag on the score curve for bonus spawns. Usually wakes up later after roughly 42% of the move budget is spent, lower on short levels. In the example, tense on moves, early for bonuses on the curve, typical mid-level. Plenty of moves, thin on points. G. Goal. Snapshot at the goal line. The moment the score first hits the mission target. Format 5.63. Two numbers with a middle dot. Left. Moves left at that instant. Right. The same spare as a percentage of what you were given at level start. G. Goal not yet taken. 3.33%. 3 moves spare, a third of the budget. 5.63%. 5 moves, 63% of budget, took it with cushion. See screenshot above. G. 1.12%. On the wire. 1 move or exactly 12%. Still calm on moves by the rules, but no real cushion. Do not confuse with MV. MV updates every frame. G is frozen after the first goal. Hence, MV 0/8 and G 5.63% on one screen. You hit the goal with 5 moves left, then played or celebrated down to 0. Calm 0. Would this count as a calm win? If you finished the level with a win right now, it would count as calm. Same rules as W. Sufficient G and assist peak less than 0.52. No. Typical reasons. G dash equals no goal yet. G 1.8% equals thin spare at the goal. G 5.63% but as equals 0.81 equals spare moves fine, help peak too high, as on the screenshot. On the first teaching example, before the goal, calm 0 because there is no G, even if current assist is still below the threshold. Line 4. How the level is going and what the profile sets. C 0.45. Comfort on this run, 0 to 1. A read on how calmly you are playing from session data. Same formula as after a win. About 45%. Spare moves at the goal if the goal was reached, or the session equivalent. About 35%. How low hidden help was, assist peak. About 20%. Whether you reached the goal without chewing through almost the entire move budget. 0.45. Fine, but no cushion. The game was already helping, as noticeable. Goal not yet reached. After a win, this feeds EMA and may nudge skill slightly. How skill reshapes the level at start. 4 multipliers, the passport of what skill 5 does when the level loads. First multiplier, 1.02, slightly more opening moves than the raw level design. Second multiplier, 0.90, apples spawn a touch less often than base config. Third multiplier, 0.94, bonuses a touch less often. Fourth multiplier, 0.70, hidden help when behind at 70% of full strength. At skill 0, the game is more generous, 1.22/1.18/1.16/1.08. At skill 10, tougher, 0.82/0.62/0.72/0.32, plus a higher score target and weaker move refunds from apples in big clears. These are profile settings on entry. Lines 2 through 3 are what happens on top whilst you play. Delta 0.04, a small nudge to mission toughness. Delta, the Greek letter, marks a small offset added to the level's difficulty from data, driven by skill. Plus 0.04 slightly tightens how many moves are expected and the score pace. At skill 0, the offset is negative, to about minus 0.10. At 10, around plus 0.18. How it all fits together. 4 situations you will feel in your bones. 1. Behind on points. Lag and as rise, the game spawns more apples and bonuses later. Not luck going your way, but a response to pace. The game sees you slipping. 2. 1 on the last move. Skill may still tick up via EMA, but W resets. 3 calm in a row needs a win with spare moves and without heavy invisible help. 3. Lost the level. Skill drops by 1, the calm win streak clears, EMA is untouched on loss. 4. Took the goal with spare moves but calm 0. Check G and assist peak to the right of 1 in as a generous G 5.63% does not save you if mid-level help was strong, 0.81 greater than 0.52. For W, you need a win with move cushion and without being carried.
In short, the game is not rigging RNG out of spite, nor handing you a free win. It remembers how comfortable you are over time, and on each level, adjusts moves, spawns, and invisible help so difficulty feels fair rather than arbitrary. The debug panel simply prints those thoughts as numbers if you fancy a look behind the curtain.
In the description of this video, you will find a link to the game I talked about here.